Attention homeowners and real estate investors. Are you looking for a recession-proof real estate strategy that creates consistent income and real impact? Learn how investors are generating reliable returns by supplying housing to veterans through government-backed programs. This proven model helps reduce vacancy risk, stabilize cash flow, and align your real estate portfolio with purpose. Join the Housing America's Heroes Investor Masterclass, a live virtual training designed to show you how to do this the right way. Join us this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central. The registration link will be posted in the comments. Housing America's Heroes, where purpose meets profit.
Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Come back, StreamYard. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Matthew Swanson, and I am, you know what, some doggone title do. What I do. I house you. I've been housing homeless veterans for the past 22 years. Documentation. But any homeless veterans is a system, various, and it's not just one type person. So people like they don't want that like oh that. So I wrote this book, right? It wants to look for housing veterans. This a guide to shared living models. So this book right here. Okay, here it is for you guys over here. I wrote this book because I kept hearing sentiment. I see the sentiment, the point until you understand exactly. So you have desire, you have a concern, you really this population because some family lot of stuff, let me tell you, and mastery to the point where I get a whole bunch of awards, a whole ton. Thank you for the hearts over here. I get a whole slew of awards because thanks for joining my club, because my community that I serve, and there are some of my awards behind my head, and my degrees and things behind my head, so over 22 years, I mean, I've taught and conducted, I've created programs, and where I took my program to the VA and taught veterans, social workers, case managers, human care professionals, investors, landlords, and landlords who have multiple properties. You can have a landlord who is an investor, not to downplay them at all. One or two 610 units. Let's get them back there, real big time. Over 22 plus years. So, and that was done at V, and also a realtor. I'm specifically email. Thanks for the invite. I am specific. I know how to connect veterans to resources, at least guide them there. Then it's up for you to do this, Yvette. And now for the veteran to do that, now send back to Yvette to get housed. What platforms are you on? I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and live on TikTok. You can find 2026. I came out 2025, like in the middle of the year, talking about my profession as a in homeless veterans housing. I house veterans from they're homeless, literally. They have nowhere else to go. Nowhere else to go. They might counter for nights in their car. They might be in transition as they housing offices, but the community is not ready to receive them. And this is what I teach. This is what I train. This is what I coach on in the community of housing homeless veterans. Because you have homeless veterans who come from all walks of life, so you cannot assume anything. You cannot assume that this person should not be homeless because he's got an MBA and he lost his job and couldn't pay the rent. Or she couldn't be homeless because she's still dressing nice. Well, she has to go to work every day. How is she supposed to show up? Or let me think. Or he couldn't be homeless because don't veterans leave the military with money? Why are they supposed to have money? I've heard all of this. So veterans come in various different demographics. So when a person, Yvette, I want to do veterans housing. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Who are you trying to serve? And what organization? They don't know this yet, but was that neo services and vet housing? And working with, thank you for the hearts, and working with organizations. You have to know what organizations are out there to pay for your veterans housing. And what could your veterans housing be? As an investor, what type of veterans housing do you have realistically as an investor? I'm not talking about somebody who's housing people. I'm talking about as an investor, you house the people. What does that look like? And this is what this is the pay me for there. You educate yourself through my educational platform. Then that's what you do. So I want to show y'all the transitions. I want to show y'all the transitions that veterans can go through for housing. Because it's not just, I want to house veterans, homeless veterans. Veterans go through a transition. And they also, in the beginning, come in various demographics. So, let me get this book right here. Everybody who said, I want to house homeless, I want to provide housing, and HUD VASH and SVF. And HUD VASH and SSVF. Now, why? Why would I add HUD VASH to a shared house? Email me and you send me messages and you tell me what you want to do. So I know I'm not making this up. I have a lot of people in my books who I know what they were thinking before they were informed. And a lot of that information is going to come out of this book when you read it. All right. I'm the writer and I'm also the publisher. I publish my own publications. Because of 22 plus years in this community, I can do that. And I've housed over 5,000 homeless veterans nationwide. I can do that. I can write books and I can teach you as a consultant, as a coach, how to do the same thing nationwide. Nationwide, it doesn't matter where you are, because veterans get the same resources everywhere we are. We all can apply for federal benefits, and prayerfully, we all get them. We can all submit claims for disabilities. We can all submit applications for HUD VASH if we're homeless. We can all submit inquiries and solicit help from all of these organizations. If you knew who we were, we can do that as veterans, as an investor in housing. Now, some of you might be saying, why is she talking about investor and housing? How am I going to do? Well, I'm a real to house homeless ecosystem. Teach you not just how to have a home your money grab, because you're going to be grabbing this month every single month, but the money's going to come to you automatically. So not just this one model. Veterans get to move around. We get around. So when I say move, how many of those veterans, and some of them weren't homeless when they came to me, but how many of those veterans I've sold houses to out of homeless. Some of them went straight from homeless to transition to home ownership. Some of them went homeless to a transitional housing to ownership, and then became investors. So let me tell y'all again. If you have not, like to click to share and follow me, please do that at this time. And we're here on TikTok. Please keep hitting the hearts and share this live. I see it's been shared 3 times, share it once. So go ahead and share it now. Thank you. If I want people to know about housing veterans and getting paid, because nobody's asking anybody to do this for free. Nobody. My realtor colleagues overall were asking me, Yvette, how do you get paid housing homeless? I'm like, the same way you get I see it like that. I'm getting a commission. This is what I want to do. Hey, Lori Teeny. So go to my bio. I've got all of my publications in my bio and just keep watching, keep following. And I do have a master class coming up this Thursday to talk about the second stage in my ecosystem. Because I teach you how not just to house veterans, but to put them through your real estate portfolio. And in the real estate portfolio, and you may not have it right now and you want to start somewhere, and where I would suggest you start is right here, provided you have the right property to do this in legally. And then I show you through my education and through my classes and through my coaching, how to connect your business to the funding that's in our community. So that's what I consult on after you read the material. So how do you move? So my colleagues would always say that, how you get paid, how you get paid, commission. I, I get paid commissions just like you. Or when I'm working with my investors, I get consultation payment. As a realtor, I've trained, I don't even know how many investors, and then I know they have made millions, if not with over the 22 plus years, billion. I want to buy property and put them in. That's a good idea. All right, learn the model. Learn the model. Book model, and that's the book, my series. I'm rooting for you because we need help. So, hey, Dennis. Working, so I not invite you live. I want everybody to let me get the link and put over here. So I want to talk to y'all this evening about caring for veterans. Caring for veterans and housing veterans. And though I just started telling my veteran sisters and my family to, is there a difference in housing retired homeless? See, that's what I mean. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book. That's what. Get the book. Housing is not. It's a process. With the government, you get veteran people. There's homeless veterans. I've housed retired homeless veterans. See, the thing is, and I also write a column, an article for the mission roll call. So write that down. Go to mission call and read and roll call. I write the definition of the terms that people like to use: homeless and some, the new fluffy terms, unsheltered, and what's another one? I forgot. I mean, this just trying to get away from the word homeless, but understand any veteran. It doesn't matter if they're retired, if they're senior, if they're young, if they're old, no matter what conflict they were in, they could be homeless. And you have men veterans, women veterans. You've got, get the book. It breaks it down for you how you house these veterans, because they're not all the same. And then when you're talking about veteran shared living models, that's just one step in my ecosystem. Veterans don't have to stay there when we have so many benefits. So I'm going to walk y'all through the stages that I take veteran home homeowner and investor in now government services as government contractor, taking veterans to that space as well, because I'm also on the executive board. I'm the executive board of directors for the SDVOB, that Services Business Network, for those who want to get into government contracting as a business. Okay, so one thing we want to do is to get started. Go download this book right now. And I want you to read. I want you to read. Start on the. Here's another one. 60. This is page 60. And then flip back and out. Better. It talks about home veterans right here. Then it talks about, so book. This is our book talk of their homeless state. All of them. And a lot of them, these are two buildings, one single family house and one 4-unit on the front of my third edition Veterans Buying Real Estate Guide for today's market, of two different veterans who purchased out of home. Well, this veteran was former homeless. This veteran was not. But you can see they can buy single family all the way up to 4 units. I'm just wondering if y'all understand the magnitude of what I'm saying, because veterans don't have to be. I'm not saying all veterans, trust me, they're not going to go through all the chaos and what is going to them to come home. They give up. They just do. They just give up because it's so much that we as veterans have to go through to get our benefits. But it's worth the fight. And I'm going to tell you, it is worth it. It's worth the struggle. It's worth everything. From being homeless to living like this. Me and my husband. Both. I mean, I had to he tell I'm homeless. I was because he had the fun hotels and hotels and holiday inns and but have that information you possess, Yvette, can house these homeless veterans. As a realtor, is housing was our realtor. I was already housing homeless people through other programs, but the functions, poor people who had disabilities, their seniors, and then since a veteran, go lay down. Epidemic about to happen. A homeless veterans epidemic about to happen. And this back in 2007. Before, hi, Miss Yvette. Wait, not been here. I know you haven't been here in a while. Robin George, I saw that. And I have your so what was I saying? Oh, so 2007 is when former President Barack Obama reenacted the housing bill, the HB, whatever. And that's when all of these homeless veterans started coming out the woodworks. I mean, they came from everywhere. It was such a tremendous, like an avalanche. So, and I saw the need right then going to the VA that the social workers, they had no idea what to do. No idea what to do. So I started training them. Then we had to get the investors on board because investors are like, I got all these properties. You know what happened in 2007, 2008? I mean, really 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12. Everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but I did say everybody. A whole lot of people were foreclosing. That's when we had the real estate crash. And my colleagues, my realtor colleagues, some of them, they didn't know how to pivot in real estate to doing something different. Are there loans for vet children to purchase a larger home to allow my parents' vet home alone? That go download this book right here. Go download this book right here because it says dependent children and caregivers. So read that. Please educate yourself, and that's why I have all of this education so you can educate yourself and learn even more is inadequate. These investors, and this is who I still train today, investors, that's say it's just housing. It's not just transitional housing. These are investors who have housing and are housing in some form or fashion, in transitional housing, in rental housing, then investors doing their fix and flips to veterans buying holds. Because who broke properties are veterans buying? They're buying holds, where they're buying fix and flips because these properties are back on the market being abandoned or they're being really upgraded. So this is a fix and flip, and receive a loan. I'll go buy it and hold. So that's what I do for over 22 years, taking veterans from homeless to buy whole family to multi units. And that's what I teach you how to do. I have a master class that's coming up this Thursday. We'll be speaking about portfolio. Your first order of business is veteran share models. This is the transition. Veterans don't have to invest type of housing you're creating for them. Then veteran transition to home ownership. This is right here. But let's get back to the transition. Say you're an investor that teaches you how to work within the HUD-VASH and how to work with SSVF organizations. But I go deeper than the book does because there's so much deeper. Oh my God. And that's why a lot of people aren't housing veterans. That's why a lot of people aren't housing homeless veterans, because it's a lot of work. It is. It is a lot of work finding stuff out. Hey, Miss Yvette, sorry I'm late. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. You can always go back and rewind and watch it from the beginning. Thanks for showing up today. So veterans don't have to stay in your veteran shared living model. Hey, Jamani, they don't. And as an investor, you can be that bridge to moving the veteran from your veteran shared living model to your rental unit, to your fix and flip, and their buy and hold. Now, let's go back to your veteran shared model. You want to get that set up, right? How do I do it today? Well, you not Kate yourself. What does it mean to house a homeless veteran? Who are these veterans that you're actually housing? My book talks about homeless veterans, yes, because all of them that you're seeking to serve are homeless. But you got senior veterans in there, which are programs. You've got women veterans, men. You have your justice involved veterans. Those are the ones who were formerly incarcerated. They had some involvement with the justice system, but they came out and now they qualify for the benefits and the resources in the community, because whatever it was they did didn't wreck them of their federal benefits or their state or their local. So they still have financial means of paying for housing through programs. Then you have veterans. But then you got to think, what's the disability? Because it's a lot of different types of disabilities. You have a TBI, and you may have ambulatory, you may have whatever the disability that you want to service in your sub to a prime who has been awarded, and this is one of their clients that they're paying for. Or it could become, my mother took care of my uncle. He was in World War II. And my uncle was with us. And my mother got a check for him every month. Every single month. She got a check for him. So it could be a shared living like that, because he didn't have any other. He didn't have a family. So if you have, if you want to set up a better shared living model, read I am on this live. Veterans of violence. Really, how are reasons I wrote this book? And I talk about that population in this book in two different areas. And each time I read those chapters, I break out in tears. I really do. And we really need housing for victims, veteran victims of domestic abuse. One of the reasons I've been in veterans homeless housing for so long is because I was a homeless female veteran of domestic abuse. Now, my one family member said, well, you weren't homeless. Yeah, I was. Who wants to live in a place where there's domestic abuse? And then when you leave, you have nowhere else to go for days on days at a time, weeks at a time, and then come back to the same abuse. So, according to the VA, a person, a victim of domestic abuse who's a veteran, can qualify under those conditions for an emergency housing voucher. That's homeless. Then you have your LGBTQ plus community of veterans. Where they go? I accept them in veteran shared living models. And this snippet of the population that you want to serve when you say, I want to house homeless in categories, people in situations in life. You know, veterans have been around, help them get off the street or couch, a house, or get out of a I gotta turn this thing. So whatever type of veteran shared living model. Can you still hear me? Whatever type of veteran shared want to in my strategy calls. Now to locate the agencies with that funding. Have located with funding in order to pay for those veterans who will be referred to you. I'm working with another who we found, that's Joel, Mr. Joel Wallace, and not only one agency, but because of the housing type that we narrowed his business down to, they to another agency because that agency is looking for the same thing. So now he doesn't have to branch off and do two different types of houses. He can branch off and do the same house, the same type of house for that population, because now he's got two organizations that can refer veterans to him, his company, with funding. That's what I teach you how to do, because veterans receive benefits. So now, as a real estate investor who provides housing for veterans, where do they go next? How do you help them get to the next stage of housing? Well, I have a master class coming up talking about the next stage of veterans housing outside of veteran shared living models, because they don't need to stay in your bed forever, provided they have federal benefits. Go download and read provide federal benefits or benefits they their housing excuse me, in the community. So in your portfolio of real estate, you're making all your money over here, all your money, get all your money in the veteran share market. Look, y'all gonna have to move it. Y'all gonna have to rent someplace or buy someplace. So program helping them do. And I consult you on that. I consult you on that, but to read educational material, then that's when we can get to that part and have a program and a program written out. Then while that tenant, not tenant, but veteran is in your veteran shared living model, you're working closely with where they came from. You're working closely with social workers, case managers, human care professionals. You're working closely with these organizations, and not just to get veterans to come and live there. With that, that's a given. But veterans get to the next stage, and in your really model, your ecosystem is rentals. This is the book that I wrote for social workers, human care professionals. So it would behoove you to know what I'm telling them to do to find you in the community. Because a lot of VA, and y'all keep telling me, Yvette, I went to the VA and they're not helping me, and they really need help. They're really trying to people. So find out who you need to talk to. Learn these workers, managers, program managers, human professionals on how to contact you. That's what I teach you how to do. As a realtor working in the homeless veterans community for over books sold on their paperback, my coach is working on getting them in digital, audio, all that stuff. But I would strongly, because these are workbooks. It's not a book that you're going to pick up. Oh, I got it now. I know you got to ponder. You have to write notes. You got to come back and do homework. You want to refer back to this book several times. All of my publications. This one as well for social workers and case managers. This one as well for buying houses. Great. I want. Okay, good. You made me go through all of that. But yeah, all of my books. I'm old school. I'm old school girl. So I gotta write so I can read and go back. You know, I like my tabs and everything. That younger people like stuff. So the social and letting yourself be known. People think, I don't know what everybody thinks, but I know some people think this is that you can sit behind your desk and do. I mean, you once you become that type of, yes, write notes. Yes, I do. Yep. And also, on a lot of pages is another room to write right on the side. So once you say you're buying real estate and you're doing that housing some type of way in Vegas, then you can have a memory cut. I would for your independent living, for your veteran sharing. I say probably for your husband. I have a lot of investors who do it that way. Hey there, hello, first time Mustard Seed Foundation. Yes, the faith of the small as a mustard seed. I talked about that this week. So, investors who are out of state and they own personal, I don't. So please don't ask me. They hire management companies to manage the payments, all these payments who are through. That's it. Because house veterans, so they're. I forgot what I was saying. So yeah, get the books. I'm excited. I received my award for Red Cross Military Hero 9th. Yeah, May 9th. And then something else, I have something else coming up in April. So that's going to be really, really nice to share with you all too. So I'm telling you, we need this type of help. Hey, you're back over here. We need this type of help in our community and of investors and housing providers to know just how to work with homeless veterans, because there's a misconception. I want y'all to go to Mission Roll Call and read the article I wrote on veterans homelessness and the misconceptions. And I get it, because that word homeless is real harsh. It peels back the band-aid and is still an open wound. That's how I always feel when I think of homeless, because it's horrible. When you are homeless, you don't have anywhere to go. You don't have anywhere to go. You go to the place that you find safe to be where you are. Like I did, that's who lived in a U-Haul. Veterans who didn't have this car, they just rode the trains up and down to them in Grant Park. I'm like, where are you sleeping in the park? So whenever I go to Grant Park, I'm looking around. Okay, that would be a good spot. In under were vets who didn't lose hope, but they just didn't have anywhere to go. Nowhere. I was one of them. I was one of them. Several times who age today. I don't hide. Talking about homeless veterans in a domestic violent marriage. I wish there was HUD advantage back then, but it wasn't. I've been able to qualify for it. So as a investor right now, you are an investor. You own property. Own more property, more veterans housing, not the one who wants veterans housing and nothing else, and you want to buy every single month and get paid. Yeah, you're doing a beautiful thing. But I'm talking about veterans, right? We have two who qualify for can move from your veteran shared living model to a permanent residence that they have a lease for or a deed to. That's what I'm talking about. Not leaving veterans in a room so you can get paid. I love that model because money is what you're going to need, and good credit in a lot of cases if you don't know creative financing. But you're going to need revenue or credit, some type of buying power to continue buying your real estate in order to continue housing these veterans. Veterans retire homeless. So don't think all veterans who are homeless live in the gutter and they're drunks and they do all types of things. No, no. Go read my article on Mission Roll Call so you can get educated on what a homeless veteran actually looks like and the definition of homeless veterans. I went to work every day. I was having to guess. I was on live yesterday with a former homeless veteran who I housed. She said back, you can't come out of order. You cannot come out of order. So was she supposed to come stinky smelling, not in order to prove the point that I'm homeless? No. You're going to show up the way you're supposed to. A car, and then and washed up and ate breakfast and went to work. I wasn't even homeless. This for the VA living in my city. You see what I mean? We've got something to do. And I see you a realtor too. I wrote a book for my realtor to homeless in ship. Do you also cover disabled? Yes. Yes. It's right here. It's a book right here. It's better. It's on the cover. Yes. Thank you. Now, let me say something about her. And you got some place to live. That another discriminatory um how to work with those housing bills, because these veterans are still homeless, walking around here with the HUD VASH voucher, and then get the voucher terminated because the veteran could not find housing because there was no realtor in the community who could find housing under their guidelines. Under their guidelines. And what are those guidelines? When you're going to apply for housing, for rentals, oh, you're going to do a credit check. Good. You're going to do a background check. This is with realtors. You're going to do an eviction, all that check. You're going to, hey, my investor wants me to come and see where you live. And now you're homeless. You're going to come and see where I live in a tent by the creek. And then my SUV is right there because it gets too cold at night sometimes. So we go in and crank it up. You want to come see where I live? So you already did a credit check that denied me. Now you're going to do an eviction check or a foreclosure. You're the second denial. Then you're going to do a criminal background. Some have a background. That's just by the creek in Charlottesville, Virginia. In a U-Haul in Chicago and Louisville. 2, 3, 4 times application, but you still need housing. So what do, veteran? That you go to another management company, add credit. You're homeless, first of all. Yuck. So there's certainly not the realtors out there. It's not the realtors are asking me, you get paid in homes. It's not you. Thank you. And that's what I tell my veterans to do. When you buy units, you rent to other veterans into the community class this Thursday. And it talks about how that the federal government has federal for homeless veterans. So I teach you as investors, as property owners, as whoever say I want to house homeless veterans. I'll show you in my masterclass what we're going to do every month. Every month. But you don't even realize it's out. Would you want to go up to a veteran and say, I thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. But you turn your back to the house. Don't be damned. Not talking. You know how to use the benefits in the veterans community, then I'm not talking to you. But if you don't know how to, I encourage you to get this book right here, A Realtor's Blueprint, The Veteran's Path to Home, Navigating the System from Homelessness to Home Ownership. I've made over a 7-figure income housing homeless veterans. Homeless veterans. Homeless through their transition to rentals, to home ownership, to Becoming Investors. I can't get the book yet, but I am soon. Well, you go to Amazon and you click it and you save it in your cart. Go to my website, VetMentors online, and join my email, because it's a lot that the community can do, but the community is aware of what y'all too. I wrote this book, Finding Home. This book, when I was just sitting, I ain't gonna tell you, I was sitting in the bathroom, and I got to thinking. I was on TikTok, and I was scrolling on TikTok, and I'm just wondering, because this was the last month in, I think, March or April of 2025, when I was at the vet center conducting these workshops. I conduct workshops. I've conducted workshops at vet centers for years. Meeting at the just right here, and also at city colleges where I had a contract for several years, and community. These are different municipalities. And then these are some of the houses and buildings that I sold over the years to veterans. Nationwide, mind you. I had a veteran who moved somewhere. I'm like, where's that? Let me find a co-op agent. So, man, we have these benefits that with proper instruction, proper guidance, a little bit of help and care, our veterans can, from being homeless to homeowner. I've done it. Not just for me, but for thousands of veterans. Y'all just now hearing about me because I just started coming live talking about this maybe 8 months ago. Maybe 8 months ago. Because my last, let me see, when was the last? I think it's in, what book is it in? Oh, it's in the Realtor's Blueprint. My last workshop right here was March 20th, 2025 at the Vet Center. Y'all see that? This is my last workshop. March 20th, 2025 at the Vet Center. Right there, Forest Park Vet Center. That was, I'm sitting like, oh, I can't talk about it. Excuse me. I'm like, are my veterans? So I'm just on TikTok, and something told me, something said, just ask to see if there are any veterans who need resources because they're homeless. Just put it out there. And I put it out there, and I said, are there any veterans out there who need resources? If you're homeless, let me know. Let me know. So I wrote this book to teach people nationwide how to find resources for veterans. So I said, let me see if what I know in housing homeless veterans all these years, will it work nationwide? And bam, it did. It did. Hawaii is in this book right here. All the resources that I sent her, and she was able to find the resource that she needed to have. Got another year in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he contacted me on TikTok, and he said, I want to thank you because the resources that you sent me, I'm housed now. And he said, I got to go because the furniture is delivered. So I'm like, it works. I didn't stop at everybody who I sent resources to. I've their pictures after a while. I'm like, send me your picture. I know with the service. And so get this book right here. I've got in this series U.S. military veterans resource guidebook books that I wrote. Not this one. The rest of them. I think I'm in my office, so but they're all in bio. Ones who you say, I want to house homeless veterans and make your money. Your transition to rentals to fixed flip. Because when you get to your say here in Chicago, you're $100,000. You can buy a house that working and you something to do it. No, to do what he does. Will you be quiet? So, anywho, until that happens, I'll continue educating you all on what it takes. Come here. Let me give you some hugs and kisses. Come here. You want to meet the people? Come here, girl. I'm not mad at you for barking. Okay, this is my baby. I rescued her. Somebody threw her out. She was in the parking lot of JCPenney running around cold. And I'm like, she's only 5 pounds. So I went and got her. And I took her to the animal control. It's called South Suburban Humane Society. And she had a chip in her. And she had on a collar. So I'm like, okay, what's going to happen to her next? They said, well, since she has a chip, we're going to contact her people. And as you see, her people never came and got her. So I said, well, I want to get her. I put her in a car in her warm. I put her in a coat. Relaxed. She just relaxed. She didn't give me any problems. And she's been like this with me. Isn't that right? This is Empress Lotus. She is my rescue puppy. Rescued her. Oh, she'll have this week, so don't be looking out. I had 2 weeks. Community said, "Oh, they were get groomed. That was a nice thing that you did." She'll be groomed this week. Right? See y'all later. And if I'm not in my bio, go to the bio. See you tomorrow. All right. And oh man, they play the
Across America, too many of our heroes return home only to face another battle, the fight for stable housing. Veterans are overrepresented in the homeless population, often caught in a system that is complex, slow, and full of barriers. At VetMentors, we're changing that narrative. For over 20 years, we've been boots on the ground, not just identifying the problem, but building real solutions. That's why we created the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series, a groundbreaking collection designed to educate, equip, and empower. These guidebooks are written not only for veterans, but also for the communities, organizations, and leaders who serve them. From step-by-step housing models to funding strategies, this series gives social workers, case managers, realtors, and first responders the tools they need to act with speed, dignity, and impact. VetMentors believes housing is not charity. It's a mission, a responsibility, and a pathway to restoring honor. Every guidebook in this series is a resource designed to make sure no veteran is left behind, and no community has to say, "We didn't know how to help." This is how we turn challenges into victories. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, CEO of VetMentors LLC, and I invite you to join us in rewriting the story for America's veterans.